I'm Chris Chapman. I'm an associate tutor at St. Augustine's, and my particular area is spirituality, and I also help with some online virtual courses and retreats. So one way or another, I've always worked for the church. I was a Catholic priest for 9 years. After I left, I had no idea really what happened next. I ended up working for the Church of England, the Diocese of Southwark, and there I had a variety of roles. I was involved in people involved in pastoral care training, coordinating their training and support, and I was also the spirituality advisor. And I guess that coincides with something that's been a core, a thread, all through my adult life, an interest in spirituality. So a long time ago, I trained as a spiritual director. So that's where you accompany people one-to-one in their journey with God and meet with them regularly to talk about what's happening for them. And I've also, for a long time, been involved in retreat work. So now I'm involved in a whole range of things. I work for St. Augustine's, and I've done that for the last 5 years or so, I think, teaching in spirituality. I'm also involved in retreats in different settings, what are called individually guided retreats at places like St. Byno's in North Wales. And I also do quite a bit of accompanying people one-to-one through spiritual direction and some writing in the area of spirituality. So when lockdown happened, and that was such a dramatic change for all of us, really being thrown out of our routines, people in the college began to wonder what could St. Augustine's offer. And the idea came for offering a virtual online retreat with the title Turning Lockdown into a Retreat. So I was asked to coordinate that retreat, and the way we decided to go about it was to have a weekly audio with input, followed up with a downloadable leaflet with resources for prayer and reflection. And we explored how we meet God within this very puzzling, difficult experience of not really knowing what's happening next or where we are or what's going on, with a range of speakers, people like Gemma Simmons and Eddie Howes and Andrew Walker, Barnabas Palfrey. And along with that, we've had a course on change, thinking about changes that we choose, and changes sometimes that choose us and we have to respond to them, but also sometimes that nagging feeling of the need for change in our lives. And how do we know where to go with that? And quite recently we did a trilogy of 3 sessions around the theme of hope. Sometimes we think of hope as wishful thinking, wish life wasn't like it was now. Or optimism. We've got a Prime Minister who's very good at optimism. But hope is really looking at reality in the face and all its challenges and difficulties, and then having a vision for how it might be different, because somewhere God is in that mix. So it does seem that we've had a really powerful response to these online retreats. We've had about up to 1,000 people sign up, taking part. So the hope is that's something we can continue to offer as we go ahead. Maybe the same kind of format, 3 or 4 weeks, with a weekly input. It seems to be meeting a need. I've had 1 or 2 people who've taken part in the retreats who I actually know or have contact with, in that very direct sense, who said it's given them a something to work with and begin to almost befriend the experience of lockdown and turmoil and life being not as it is. And rather than run from it, begin to see it as a bit of an opportunity to have more space, to open themselves afresh to where God might be working here. I found St. Augustine's to be a real place of community where students support each other and there's genuine friendship between people. I think people at St. Augustine's, they've often got their jobs, their family lives, they're juggling a lot of things. And I think that creates actually an atmosphere where people want to be supportive of each other. During lockdown, obviously there's been a lot of pressure on the individual students in the college, the staff, people like me, and the running of the college. One of the things that's impressed me is how that sense of community has sustained through this time. So I've been teaching online last term, and that was a very strange, peculiar experience for me. First time I've ever taught something online. But what impressed me was the way that the students in the sessions that we had together very much were keen to share their experiences and support each other. And with all the sort of the tools that you have about chat rooms and giving each other comments and feeding off each other's conversations in terms of what we were looking at, a real sense of not just being interested in a subject, but actually we also care about each other. And that coming through the way that that term went and that teaching session went.